Hello, Mauricio. Born in Miami, Florida on October 19, 2005, Mauricio Enrique Reygadas Altamirano is a 19-year-old professional football player, or as we say in the US, soccer. He is 1.80 meters tall and has played right back most of his career, but he can also play center back and central midfield. Mauricio has represented Mexico at the U18 level. Mauricio started his youth career with Marset right here in Davie, Florida, and with Pines United before joining Atlético San Luciano in 2024. Mauricio played for UD Melialas U19 team in Spain at a very young age. Mauricio has accomplished a great deal on a global level through his love of football. Here's a fun fact and why Mauricio means so much to us. He was a Sage One Prep student, and while at Sage One Prep, Mauricio was a very outgoing and smart student. When Mauricio left Sage One Prep, he moved out of the country to pursue his football career, and boy, it has paid off.
Hello, my name is Alex, and me and Kaylani will be interviewing you today, Mauricio.
Perfect.
We first have a few questions for you, but first we want to say welcome, Mauricio. We are happy to have you on with us, and
Thank
we
you.
have a few questions for you
Very
today.
happy to be here.
How was your playing experience in Spain, and was it hard to adapt?
It was actually very difficult to adapt. When I came to Spain, I was 15. And I actually did something a lot of people don't do, which is I skipped straight from youth football into senior football. And sometimes I think back, and it might have been better for me to go through that process of youth football here in Europe. But I did the jump, and so I was able to adapt to senior football. I was exposed to it way earlier than I should have. And so I did pass a good 6 months when I got here where I was just like taken by surprise by the level. And there's a lot of things in the US that we are not taught as soccer players. And that includes positioning, that includes your awareness without the ball. I mean, that's obviously positioning, but there's so much to it. And that includes, I mean, your tactical awareness, that includes set pieces, which we don't ever do in the US. There's so many things apart from obviously the football here is, I'll say soccer, my bad. The soccer here is very, it's way more fast paced, whereas you might think that over there the games are fast paced already. Once you move here, you realize like, whoa, you know? And so that takes time to adapt. But as I tell all my friends who have thought about coming to Europe, um, you will adapt, because since you are surrounded by players that are better than you once you get here, at some point you will have to adapt in order to fit into the group.
Oh, did you make any friends along the way while you were playing?
I did. I made so many friends and so many great memories. But I mean, that started since I was little. That started since youth football over there in Florida. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, the biggest pro I had was I know how to speak Spanish. I'm a native Spanish speaker. So when I got here, I had absolutely no problem with the language. And I guess that did make making friends a lot easier for me.
What's your greatest achievement in your soccer career?
That's a good question. I want to say it's actually a really good question. Um, so in Spain, the youth football is called División de Honor, and that is actually the best or the most highly ranked youth football league in the entire world. And so that's where you'll see U19 academy teams in Spain, right? So only Spain, which would be the Real Madrid Academy, Atletico Madrid Academy, Betis Academy, Sevilla Academy, all those teams. And so to know that I was named MVP quite a couple of times in that league, not just of the league, like the entire year, but of multiple different occasions at a time. I mean, I guess for me, that's so far my greatest accomplishment. And I'm still only 19, you know? So there's still a lot more to come.
Very impressive.
Did you
Thank you.
always play right back and midfield, or do you have experience playing other positions?
So, I started off as a striker. When I started in West Pines, I was a striker because I was always the bigger kid, like taller. And then for some reason, I just stopped growing. I don't know at what age, but I stopped growing. And because I was big, still to a certain age, like they were still catching up to me. But since I was big, they moved me back to center back because I had good tactical awareness and I had a good way of sort of, I'll say, captaining the team, right? My voice means a lot to the team. So they put me center back where you can basically get a look of the whole field. And then after that, when I came to Europe, that's when a coach saw me playing and he's like, hey, you have an impressive amount of stamina. He's like, that's not like you shouldn't be playing center back if you have so much stamina. And that's when they started experimenting right back. And that same coach put me center midfielder, center defensive midfielder. And so that year I unlocked so many positions and it took one coach to try that. But I mean, you can ask Miss Vasir and Sagemont. She would put me wherever, and and I guess you could say I would perform. Um, but so I don't know what the word for that is. It's I mean, wherever you put me, I'm effective. And actually, I don't know if you guys saw there, but when I came to Europe, I played in Gibraltar. I played in Gibraltar 2.5 years, 3 years. And that's where I developed as a player, especially playing with people that were twice my age sometimes. Um, and that's where I developed. And that's where I also know, that's where I learned everything I needed to learn for different positions. So that when I went to Melilla, which is the under 19s, which it might sound weird that coming from senior football to youth would be a step down. It wasn't. It was actually a huge step up because of the level. And so when I got there and they realized that no matter if I started right back or left back or right wing or left wing or any of the three midfield positions, they knew that I was going to be effective and perform. So that for me was a huge plus. So I don't even consider myself a right back, which is weird to say. I consider myself, I tell people I'm a fullback, if anything, and I don't tell them what side because I play either side. And that for me is a huge pro because whatever coach you tell that, he's like, okay, I don't have to only play this player in one position.
Who or what inspired you to become a soccer player?
I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I I was always, attracted to the sport. I had a special connection. When I was a little kid and my mom would take me to like Toys R Us when it was still open, I would never go for toys. I would always go for, like soccer balls or any type of thing that had to do with sports. And so that's where I developed the love for it. And it only kept on getting greater because my parents supported it. And, I became a Real Madrid fan when I can't even remember when. And then watching Sergio Ramos play, which was my idol growing up, he was one of the reasons why I'm like, you know what, this would be cool, and I want to give it a try.
How did you prepare for this opportunity to play on the national professional level?
So interestingly enough, the way that you get called up to national teams isn't so much you preparing, it's more you performing. So if you don't perform, you don't get called up. That's how it is. Soccer can be a cruel sport. And so, for example, I don't know if you guys saw, but back in April of last year, I broke my fibula and my tibia. Well, I didn't break it. They broke it. They tackled me. And so that year, I was actually already on the pre-list to get called up to the U20 World Cup qualifiers for Mexico. And after that, sometimes there are setbacks to your career because from being in a moment where I was going to get called up all summer, play international football all summer, had a great end to my season. You know, things could have looked very different. All of a sudden, you have to deal with recovery. You have to deal with um, taking care of yourself by the way you eat, staying strong mentally. That's a huge part of this sport. Um, so honestly, character is what gets you to national team, and that's how you prepare, building character and performing.
Who has been the best player or team you faced against?
Best player or team? The best player I had to man mark twice was a kid who's actually playing right now for Real Betis' first team. His name is Jesus Rodriguez. And I had to man mark him twice, two different occasions. So I would say that's the best player. Now that the one that I've played with, I do have a friend who is in Barcelona right now. His name is Bochin. He also grew up in Miami. He played for West Pines just like me, and then he went to Weston, which is right in Sagemont. Well, Sagemont is Weston, so he played for Weston, and then he came to Spain. He made the move just like me.
Is there any advice for young inspired athletes?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Is there any advice for young inspired athletes?
Definitely, hard work beats talent. Always. Work. I mean, you're never gonna get where you want without working and without endless hours of just grit, sheer grit. I mean, you have to be in the gym. You have to be on the field. And the same way I mentioned character being part of a really important part of this sport, um, you have to be humble. Always be humble. Not just with your coaches, but with your teammates. You have to be someone people look up to, not someone people despise.
How does your family feel about your accomplishments making it as a professional soccer player?
They are very happy for me, and they always have supported me. But I know deep down that we all know that there are more things to come in the future. You know,
What is your professional career stats to date?
I have no clue. I have no clue.
What were some of your biggest challenges you faced during your career so far in your soccer career?
This injury this past year has been by far my biggest roadblock. I mean, I was going to explode this year in a sense where my career would have been taken to a whole different level without this injury. But that's where you have to trust the process. You know, you have to know that these things happen for a reason, and it only makes you. Um, these experiences only make you stronger. So I would say that that was by far my injury last year, the toughest part of my career. Not because of the injury, but because of the situation.
Mauricio, how long did that injury take to recover?
So this is where being mentally strong comes in. My injury was meant to be, I was meant to recover in 5 months. And so I got injured they broke my leg April 23rd of last year. And I was basically at 100% by the end of October. I was training with slowly getting back into rhythm November. By the end of November, I could tell you that um, I was perfect, basically perfect. I would still feel a lot of pain on my ankle. It would still get swollen after training. And then on the 12th of December, I I accidentally hit another player while I was trying to hit the ball, and part of my foot also got caught in the ground. So I did my same ligament. The good thing it was only a grade 2 strain, but this is after recovering so many months and then thinking, no way, something just happened again, and I didn't even get to play yet. And that's where being mentally strong comes in. You can't give up. You have to keep on pushing. You have to keep on um, just believing in yourself. And so I was back at a full 100% February, the end of February. It was a fast recovery from the strain, if I'm being honest. And I was, right now, I'm perfect. Not a single injury.
Do you think about transferring to another team?
Oh, yes. I mean, so what I have done recently is because when you're young, uh, usually when you're young, there are two situations you could be in. Either you're already in an insanely good club and you get a contract deal for 5 years, 4 years, and you're in a really good position, or you're young and you are still trying to get to those big clubs. That's where a lot of the times it's smarter to sign 1 year contracts, which is exactly what I do, right? So for example, this year with Atlético Sanluqueño, I signed a 1 year contract. If I would have signed 3 year contract, that wouldn't have been smart because just 2 days ago I was confirmed for my Spanish nationality. So now I don't count as a foreign player, I count as a European player. And it took me 4 years to get that. So now the possibilities of anywhere in Europe are endless. I mean, right now I'm in Berlin. I'm on this call in Berlin, Germany, and I'm meeting up here with some agents to see some possibilities in Germany or in Netherlands or in, you know, my doors have been completely open now.
Well, hope you get transferred to Germany.
Thank you.
Alex and Kailani, thank you guys so much. We don't want to close out yet, Mauricio. I am going to turn it over to Miss Visir at this time.
Hi, Mauricio.
Hi, Mr. Sear.
Hello. I can definitely vouch for your versatility on the field. I definitely even put you in net for one season when that was the only place that I could get you to play.
Do you remember why?
Because you were way too injured and your coach
Yeah.
wouldn't let you play, and you were so passionate that you were like, I'll go in net if I have to. And you were still the best keeper that we had. So I can definitely vouch for that. So I just wanted to say how proud we are of you and your accomplishments and all of the ones that are still going to come. I remember being right in here when you were in seventh grade and you had first asked me about, did you ever play overseas? And, that kind of started that conversation and you were already, showing that goal and already working towards it. And I think that this type of accomplishment is something that people kind of ignore the behind the scenes and all of the work that it takes to actually get to this point. Most of the people that you're playing with are not sitting there trying to juggle finishing high school while, handling all of that. So we definitely wanted to recognize that. I'm sure you remember being in the Sagemont gym. They have all of these recognition banners for all of the, athletes that have come through Sagemont and have, succeeded.
Really?
So what we did is we went ahead and I will show you. I'll share my screen real quick. We went ahead and we made you a banner.
Oh my gosh.
We are leaving space because we know that there's definitely going to be things added to it. But like I said, we wanted to recognize not only your hard work, but just how proud we are of you as a person and as an athlete. And like I said, we're all your biggest fans, so we're gonna keep watching, keep following
This
up on
is
it.
incredible, Mr. Sear.
So, this is obviously it's not presented yet, but we wanted to show you that way. That how proud of you we are.
That
And
means so much to
there's
me.
definitely space to add more.
And of course, Sagemont will always have a special place in my heart. Because you guys know that after Sagemont, I went online. So Sagemont was truly my last school experience.
Absolutely. We still consider you a Sagemont graduate.
And Mauricio, when you are in town the next time, please let Miss Fasir know, reach out to Coach Maurcio or myself, because if you are in town, we want to make sure that you get in that gym and really showcase it for you, and do something special, okay?
100% I'll let you guys know. Thank you so much.
At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ruben.
We cannot thank you enough for giving us, we cannot thank you enough for giving us time to speak with you today. We truly appreciate you for joining us and giving us insightful and passionate information. We know we know that you have already inspired many people like us. We hope that we can physically meet you one day and maybe play a friendly soccer match or two. Thank you for joining us today.
Of course, and thank you guys so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Hello.